Hello and welcome to Gaelic Football Views on CavantTV.com.
Tonight we have a jam-packed show for you where we'll be looking back at over the results from the Hotel Kilmore and Cully's Craft Bakery Club Championships last weekend. We had red cards, yellow cards, black cards, great scores, shocks, draws and even a fire, and we'll be bringing you all that later on in the show.
We'll also be looking ahead to a busy weekend in the ladies football scene, as this Sunday we'll see the junior, intermediate and senior championship finals take place in Kingspan Breffni Park. We'll be speaking to some of the members of these teams involved later on, but first we have the presentation of the Sheridan Insurance's Breffni All-Stars Player of the Week for Week 5 to Adrian Cole from Ramor. So Benny, we'll hand it over to you.
Very good, thanks guys. Well done Adrian on a terrific display that earned you the Sheridan Insurance's Breffni All-Star Player of the Week. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Adrian, I suppose to start with you, we'll give you the microphone, you can hold on to it there. It was a really, really good display against a really dogged, and hard-working Killigary team.
Yeah, we just about got there. The first game against Kingscourt we started off bad, and same against Killigary, but we're finishing game strong, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, I suppose in contrast, last year you were destroying teams at this stage of the competition, but when it came to the final end, you didn't hit it. So maybe you're doing it in the reverse this year to peak come quarter-final or semi-final.
Yeah, it's probably better coming under the radar this year and beating hammering teams they coming through. So
yeah,
if we come under the radar this year.
I suppose we were talking to Owen Somerville. He won the Player of the Week last week, and we were saying how during that week it was the younger players stepped up, but last week yourself, Shane Cole, James McEnroe all played very well. It was the slightly older players, I suppose.
Season campaigners, I'd say.
Season campaigners, yeah. It's great to see the young lads being able to do it and kind of getting rid of more of the older players now on, and just see the younger lads coming through, and it's great to see it.
I suppose a lot of, a few people are making the comparisons with you. The way you're playing at the minute to Gerard Pearson of a few years back from Garnabo when he was with County, you've something similar stature and skills. Would you consider giving a big effort on going into the county panel in the coming years?
Yeah, sure. If I got the call, I wouldn't mind heading in, but yeah, no, it's great to be compared to like Gerard Pearson.
We've a couple of lacking girls here. Might have Terry Hyland's number that we could pass it on to you.
No problem.
But the underage structure in Ramor in the last number of years has been absolutely phenomenal. It's consistent Division 1 underage football and winning minor titles. Like, you'd be a little bit older than that particular crop of players that are coming through now, but it's how difficult is it, or how big of an advantage is it to have these boys pushing you on the whole time?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Just like Tony Shields and Liam McEnroe and them boys, they're just working day in and day out with the younger lads, and it's great to see them coming through.
How far can Ramor go this year?
I believe we can go all the way. Just keep our heads down and don't get complacent or nothing.
Interestingly enough, Benny, this is the 5th week of the Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars, and we've had 2 players from Ramor United nominated for a Player of the Week. This is obviously Ado, and then we had Owen Somerville as well. They are looking like the team that are the standout performers so far.
Yeah, well, morale is good, obviously. Success breeds success. Even winning a 1-point match again, Kingscourt, gives the team morale to go on again. And while they were well behind in the recent match, they came back strong, a bit like Mayo yesterday, and finished strongly to win the match comfortably by 3 points.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's it. It's something that all players throughout the county, both with the ladies section of GAA and the men's, that to be a Player of the Week you have to do something special from a team effort perspective or whatever. And obviously I wasn't at the match, but Ado inspired the team, or led the team I should say, from a full forward position, and earned them, well, as per the panel, there's 5 on that panel that adjudicate and go round and look at all these games. So well done, Ado.
Yeah, congratulations, and I suppose it's just down to wish you the best of luck in the rest of the championship. Any particular teams you'd like to get in the quarter-final?
No, I'll just take them as they come. Would like to fake pint a team.
I'm sure you could, but not now.
No, not now.
Without a doubt. So look, thanks very much to Benny and to Adrian Cole for coming in and accepting the Sheridan Insurance's Breffni All-Stars Player of the Week for Week 5. We're going to take a very quick commercial break, but if you'd like to join us back in part 2, where we'll be looking ahead to the ladies' finals this coming weekend.
Cavan Crystal Hotel provides 4-star accommodation on the edge of Cavan town. Located conveniently on the Dublin Road, just 60 minutes away from Dublin. With 85 beautifully appointed bedrooms and a number of luxurious suites. We offer wedding packages. With our one wedding a day policy, we guarantee to make yours a special day. Enjoy a meal at our award-winning Opus One restaurant, or have a drink in the atrium or residence bars. Feeling energetic? You can work out in Zest Health and Fitness Club, or maybe pamper yourself and visit Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, or Avita's Hair Salon, both located on site. Situated only 5 minutes from Cavan Town Centre and local amenities. Cavan Crystal Hotel, gateway to Ireland's Lakelands.
Building Products Junior Championship final between Kingscourt and Drumgoon. We're delighted to be joined by Selena Lynch and Claire McCaffrey from Drumgoon, and Aideen Bennett and Christine Farley from Kingscourt. So, girls, thanks a million for calling in.
For Drumgoon, second junior final in a row. Unlucky last year, I think, in the end, but you are back with a vengeance this year, is it?
Well, we hope so. Definitely hope so. Last year was a big disappointment for us, and I think the occasion actually got to us, but hopefully that has changed this year.
You were up against a good team, and I think it was Lurgan, wasn't it, that played you in the final last year? Lurgan Bees that played you in the final last year, and I made the big mistake at the ladies' championship launch night of saying that it was Beth Farley McGee, and who I actually meant was Edith Lynch. She was brilliant that day.
Well, the names are quite similar.
Yeah, they are very, very similar. But it was Edith Lynch. She was only 17, I think, at the time, was she?
Yeah, they were quite young.
Yeah, they were quite young.
which was an advantage. It was on a big field. But you said the junior championship this year was run off in 2 groups. There were 6 teams involved. You were in the group with Shercock and Cornafane, and you won both games. You finished off with a positive score difference. So, can you describe the 2 games for us, or tell us about which was first?
We had Cornafane first, yeah. I think it's more positive for us that we did win all in championship. You know, like they were both tough games. Like, we were lucky with Cornafane and Shercock as well. Like, so I think it's just a bonus for us not to have to come another route at it, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just
straight in. Was there last year, do I recall something about? Sorry, there's no trains about here. Was there a player and mother-daughter combination, Shercock and Drumgoon? Did that take place again this year?
Yeah, it did, yeah. Ashley McDermott was on the Drumgoon team, and her daughter Naisha was playing for Shercock.
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't come to blows or anything?
No, they didn't.
No. Claire said she wasn't going to talk at all. She did.
So we're doing very well.
We broke our resolve, so we have.
So the games against Shercock and Cornafane, were they home, away, or neutral venues? What way were they?
we were home again Cornafane and away for Shercock.
Ah, right. Well, you didn't have too far to travel.
No.
At all. It was good to see. And then I suppose moving on to Kingscourt girls, you were in a group with Killashandra and Cavan Gales. Cavan Gales' first time with an adult team, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
very
but you won both games quite convincingly.
I wouldn't say we won Killashandra convincingly.
No,
Oh, right.
it was a
Okay. I'm
tight
just looking at the
game.
score
Yeah.
difference. You finished with plus 46. So one of them wasn't convincing.
I think we played the Gales in the first game, and they came up to us on a Wednesday evening, and I think they were a very young side with them. And with a home game, we love playing in Kingscourt. Who wouldn't? But
Yeah.
I think that suited us, the good big pitch. So we won that fairly easily. But down to Killashandra, and we've probably played the hardest game of our season so far. So we thought it was a very hard game down there. So
Still won by 6 points though in the end, so you did.
we were level with 7 minutes to go. So we
Pulled away in the end.
We pulled away in the end.
And Christina's sister of a friend of ours on the show here as well, the Snake. What position do you play, Christine?
Goals as well.
You're in goals as well, right?
Top
And
everything he knows.
do you give him the lessons, or does he give you the lessons?
I'm the older one. He learned everything from me.
Well, you don't look older than them, so just to let you know.
And your hairstyle is a whole lot better. We've highlighted that already on our show here. But and what position do you play?
Cornerback.
Cornerback. Tight marker?
I don't know about that now. I hope to be anyway. Hopefully on Sunday I will be. So.
He'd be a bit cleaner than the Dublin cornerback yesterday, though. There'd be no
Oh,
scrubs up or
definitely, yeah.
anything. No.
Yeah,
Unless
good
it's
clean
needed.
player. Yeah.
But in both games, you only conceded 8 points, which was interesting, you know. Like, so you must be tight at the back. You must be doing a lot of shouting too much as well, keeping them on their toes. And you've let in no goals either.
Yeah, well, we actually had a different goalie the first day. I wasn't in goals the first day. So
Where were you?
I was full forward for one of the games. So it's just the strength of our panel. We've a very young panel, and everyone just trying to find their feet at this level as well, and trying out different positions. So got a bit of a run out the field.
And did you score anything in the 7-27 that you scored against?
Scored a little bit.
What did you score?
A couple of goals, a couple of points.
So modest. So modest. If that was your brother, he'd be able to tell you when he scored them. Where
He wouldn't have scored them.
Well, ladies, no girls. These are up against this dogged defence in King's Court. What is the plan for this game?
Score goals.
That'll be a good start.
Could be a help.
Yeah. So, have you played each other before?
Just
9-a-side, yeah.
And how did that go? That was this year.
Kingston got us by a point.
It was close, so
Very
very,
close,
tight game, yeah.
And the junior championship, is it full 15 aside?
Yeah.
It is. So it's a different game.
Different game altogether.
And would say in contrast, would it be a young Kings Court team against an older Drumgoon team, or well, no, you said in the last game you said last year that Logan were the young team, so that's what I'm just taking that they were the young team. So I'm just reading between the lines and getting very scared here at the same time.
We have a few players that's been around a few years, but I think I think the hunger is even more for them because we haven't had championship.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, you haven't won
yet.
yet. Right, so therefore the appetite is really there to go on and win.
There is older than me, by the way.
Well, I didn't even have to ask that question. I presumed there was.
Most of the team.
Most of the team.
on the
I thought you were one of the younger ones.
Yeah.
But and who's over the Drumgoon team this year?
Sheehan and David McCarney.
Were they over them last year?
No.
Who was over you?
Anthony Lynch,
Oh, that's
her
right.
husband, and Mark
Yes,
Corey.
yes.
And David McCarney would be Coothill man originally,
Yeah,
would he?
the two boys.
Two boys.
They're both
Coothill,
Coothill.
yeah.
Would there be Coothill players involved in
Yeah.
Drumgoon? Oh, there is.
Well, I don't think they play anymore. Though.
No, they don't play.
Okay.
Retired.
Okay, they've retired. Okay, that's all right. Well, we're not going to ask what
There was a
age they
Monaghan
are.
man involved as well last year, was there?
Yeah, Anthony Lynch. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, he was good crack actually.
That's
The
your
hubby.
hobby.
Oh yes.
Yes,
He was
yes,
good.
it's all coming together.
And
now,
with,
so it is.
with Kings Court, this is the first final that you have played in, is it?
It's only our second year.
Yeah, it's on your
Kings Court
second year,
year.
yeah. So we got to league final last year and we lost, and then the 9-a-side, I think we got to the semi-final, so we're just delighted to have reached the final, excuse me, in our second year anyway, so.
Brilliant. Who's over the team?
Peter Oates, Peter Rooney, Seamus Sexton, Keith McCabe, Colette Riley.
People over. He's
Yeah.
had lots of help.
Support, yeah, so.
Keith McCabe now. It's no wonder you're a good cornerback and Keith McCabe is over the team because he's as hard as nails and a tight marker. So you're in good stead. Well, come here, girls. We want to wish you the very, very best of luck in the final and may the best team win. We'll be there covering it live on wearecavan.com. The streaming will be going out live. So we want to wish you all the very best of luck and thanks a million for coming in and talking to us.
Before you
Thanks.
go, Claire, do you have anything else now you want to add before we go?
No.
Are you sure? Okay, then no problem at all. So the Junior B final was played on the weekend just gone by, and we have a picture coming up here of Amy Fortin from Cornafane. It was the Quinn Building Products Junior B Championship final between Cornafane and Cavan Gales. This was the first final at adult level for Cavan Gales, and they almost made the perfect start with a 2-goal 2 early goal chances, only for Cornafane goalie Ethan Miney making 2 excellent saves. It took a while for Cornafane to settle into the game, but when they did, they took complete control and saw them run out easy winners of this B final. And we have a picture there, as you can see, of Amy Wharton receiving her Player of the Match, I think it was, wasn't it? Trophy for that Junior B final.
Yeah, it was a historic day, in fairness, for the Cavan Gaels club, and they never gave up. They battled to the very end, but the experience of the Cornafane team really reigned through over the hour, and they came through. The final score in that game was 8 goals and 16 points to 4 points, but I suppose it is still first year for Cavan Gaels, and it's good for them to get involved, and it's increasing the teams at ladies football level, so it's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So
next up we have the Kiernan's Service Station Intermediate Final, which is between Killigarry and Drumlane, and we're delighted to be joined by Helen Corcoran and Claire Fitzpatrick. It is Fitzpatrick, isn't it? Ciara, sorry. Ciara. How come I wrote down Claire then? Fitzpatrick from Drumlane and Edel McLean. And how come you're changing it on the clipboard? Edel McLean and Geraldine Smith from Killigarry. Girls, thanks very much for joining us. It's good to have you on the show.
Keep that
You can keep them talking.
I suppose we'll start with the Drumlane girls, because we've had you on so many times, Geraldine, so at this stage, so we're going to start with the Drumlane girls. Girls, you had an iffy enough start to the season earlier on, league-wise and stuff like that. Was Brona a huge advantage when she came back to the team?
Yeah, Brona definitely, when you have her on the team, she definitely settles everybody, and she's good at holding the play and keeping everyone settled and telling everyone where to do. But we have a lot of underage girls come up this year from panels, minor and under 16s, and have really made a huge difference on the team this year, and really helped strengthen the whole panel overall.
Good stuff.
And the underage, would there be many teams, Drumlane underage ladies going?
Yeah, we have minor, under 16, under 14. Yeah, we have the whole way through. Yeah.
Excellent. Who's over the Drumlane team this year?
We have Colin Maguire, Tom O'Brien, and Mags Fitzpatrick.
Okay, very good. I'm not ringing a bell, but you were in a group 2 of the intermediate championship. It was a 3-team group with St Fimbers and Lavi. You won both games. Can you tell us a little bit about the first game? Who was your first game against?
It was against St Fimbers. I think we started off well in the first half, and then in the second half, I think we won by 4 points, but St Fimbers, I think, were on top there for the second half.
St Fimbers last year were in the intermediate final, if I remember correctly, against Mullahoran, is that right?
I think
so. That was a big scalp for you in the first round of the championship, and a 4-point win. You're right, it was a 4-point win. Who got the goals that day, Ciara?
I think Brona Sheridan, I think she took a 45, and then her sister Blonde tapped it in, and after that I'm not sure.
But he's only got 2 goals, so you got them both right. There's no prizes though, because it's a very low budget show, really, unfortunately. But and then the second game was against who did you play? Lavi. That was at home in Milltown.
Yeah, we played Lavi at home. Lavi were really strong that day. Yeah, we played again a good first half, and then kind of struggled to keep up with it in the second half, and we ended up winning by a point that day. But 6 points by Lavi, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
6 or 7.
6 points.
Or 7.
But yeah, we struggled again in the second half. But fitness again is improving all the time.
I can see what they're doing here now.
We're trying to play it down.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't have won the first game. We shouldn't have won the second game.
And we only won it by a point.
Yeah, we only won it by a point. We actually won it by 7. Killigarry sitting there beside them, going, "Oh yeah." But you didn't have you had good starts to the games, but you just faded off in the second half and stuff. But you've been working on that.
Yeah, working on fitness and everything's trying to improve the whole time, and just getting stronger the whole time.
How often do you train?
3 times a week at the minute.
Yeah, 3 times.
How come you have to look at her to find out? Do you not be at them all?
Sometimes you use train. What position do you play, Helen?
Full-back.
Full-back, right. And Ciara?
Centre half-back.
Centre half-back, so we've got the spine of the team here, so we're just missing the... And then, what position is Brona playing for you?
Midfield.
Midfield. Okay, and so you know what the team is now, girls.
We've done the homework for the Killigary one. So we'll move on to Geraldine and Edel. So yous came through again. Yous were in a 3-team group in the Intermediate Championship, Group 3, and it was Ballybor and Ballyhaise, a local derby.
Well, it's interesting though, that obviously St Fimbers were beaten in the final last year by Mullahoran. 2 new teams in the final this year. How far did you go last year? Mullahoran put you out in the semi-final last year. And Drumlane, where did you end up last year in the intermediate?
I wasn't playing the seniors last year.
Right.
No, we didn't do well in intermediate last year at all. We have a great underage team come up this year, and it's really
stemming from the underage setup. So this will be an interesting final. So it will definitely, use of the heartache of losing the semi-final last year. Use of the freshness of all this youth coming in. From Rhinebeck County and use bet Inny Gales in the other semi-final.
That was just this weekend gone by. Well, Inny Gales was
they played the weekend before.
Right.
Scores and a couple of fine goals. They had the chance to win by more, but Lavi, to their credit, kept battling away, but never really troubled Ballyhaise as they ran out easy winners.
Yeah, and you can see that picture there with the player of the match. And
so now, folks, it's the big one.
Yeah, it's the big one, and
it's the repeat of the 2014 final, which saw the current champions, obviously, Lacken take on Lorgan, and this coming Sunday at 4 p.m. in Kingspan Breffni Park, it's the Breffni Mushrooms senior football final between Lacken and Lorgan. Lorgan were that afraid they wouldn't come up to the show.
Yeah.
They heard Rosie Crow was coming in and they said, Jesus, no. Bad enough we're going to have to face her on Sunday.
That's it.
We're just not going to go into it.
And they heard about Debbie Gaffney's elbow. So they said, no, we're not getting involved. We don't want anybody injured. But delighted to have Debbie, obviously, and Rosie here, and delighted to be so far away from
exactly the same distance. And fair play. I have to say, actually, thanks to all the girls for kitting out in the jerseys. I love all the jerseys. Yeah. They actually are class, aren't they? They really
are.
And like yours are definitely nicer. Yeah, she's talking now.
Yeah, she's talking.
There's love in the back when she talks.
Yeah, and the pink numbers on the Drumgoon.
Yeah, I have to say, that's a nice touch.
It's a nice little touch, but the Lacken one is very similar to the Simonstown jersey, so I really like that one.
Yeah, and you have to obviously. Well, it's good for you to keep mentioning the sponsors as these are coming in or showing it off. Tom Moore would never let you into the shop if you didn't. So, I suppose Lacken ladies for the last number of years, you have been dominating the scene. You have been, top of the pile, and everybody's trying to get at you. Is this the year you could be toppled though?
I wouldn't say that. No, we're getting stronger every year now. We've a lot of underage girls come in this year. So no, I think we're still there.
Yeah. Debbie, you're going for 5 in a row. Fantastic.
4 in a row.
Was it 4 in a row? I thought it was 5.
Was 3 in a row.
Which?
Last year was 3 in a row.
Last year was 3 in a row.
Bring the mics up so we can hear you.
You're going to 4 in a row. You're going for 4 in a row. That'd be a wonderful achievement in itself as well.
It'd be class. To win 1 is a huge achievement. But to win 3 in a row and to be in the position to be able to go for 4 in a row and to be in such a strong position, as Rosie said, I think our squad is stronger this year than it was last year. We've a lot of young talent coming through, so I think we're going in very well prepared.
Yeah.
You definitely are. I suppose, Debbie, people listening to that will get a hint of a different county accent there. I'd say it's Monaghan. Is it Monaghan? No, Donegal.
Yeah.
Donegal. How long are you down around Cavan?
This is my 10th year now playing with Lacken.
10th year playing with
You're
Lacken.
just coming down to play with Lacken.
Oh, yeah.
So bringing in the ringers from Donegal.
That's it.
Rosie.
She has an All Medal with Donegal ladies.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow.
Just thought throw that in there.
Fair play to you.
Does she show it to you often, Rosie? Does she allow you with it?
I have mine as a kind.
This is true.
Just one to match, doesn't need mine.
And Debbie, what position do you play?
Full forward.
Full forward.
Yeah.
Okay. And is the supply good enough from midfield? Seeing as the dig was coming in.
Superb.
Really?
Couldn't get better.
Has to be.
Well, you should be a lot of shouting if there wasn't.
The likes of Horan, Roshan and Aaron in the full forward line, you have to give it,
Yeah, well, that's true. There's no point in holding on to the ball out there.
No, definitely not when you've got that type of player in the full forward line. But just wanted to ask, this is you're going for 4 in a row. The hunger for the first one, the hunger for the second one, the hunger for the third one, it was all different, I'm sure. What kind of hunger have you got going in looking for the fourth one? How, does it really mean as much as the first 3, I suppose?
It does. There's different, I think we set ourselves different goals every year. You know, the first one is obviously to win the first one. The second one is to retain it, and then every year after that, you kind of set yourself higher goals. Like, although we've three titles under our belt in a row, we still haven't made that breakthrough in Ulster. So that's our new goal, our new aim. Obviously, you got to pass like Lurgan on Sunday, which is a big hurdle. But you set yourself new ambitions every year, so you do and try your best to achieve them as best you can. Like.
Lurgan are a young team, in fairness, and a relatively youngish club. I think they're doing a lot of work. They obviously have 2 teams, or had 2 teams last year. Don't think they had it. Don't have it this year. But there's good numbers involved there, and you know they're the up and coming team, I suppose. They are the pretenders to the throne.
Oh yeah, they have a good few underage are coming through, as you see now, with the Lurgan B, and so they do. Yeah, they have a good selection too. So yeah, they do. They have a lot more than us, but.
It's not going to be an easy game, is what I'm trying to say. It'll be tough on you.
It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Quote of the night from Rosie Crow.
I know, they have a great selection, so it's easy for them.
They've got some great players, and both.
Yeah.
And last year, when they played in both finals, they had great players on both teams, and all young players. So they will move on into the higher ranks at some stage. Like.
Yeah, the likes of, there's a good Catherine Dolan there, and Edith Lidge that played, you know, I don't think Catherine played last year. She was on holidays. She had a tough year last year, but none of them were there last year, so it'll be a big difference for them this year. So, you know, it'll bring them on an awful lot.
A lot of the Cavan underage teams have good sprinkling of Lurgan players coming through, so it's a matter of time for them to build up, you know, to get the senior. But the experience, that was Lurgan's first final, I think, in a while last year.
Yeah.
So the experience of last year might just help them on.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They're just as hungry as us, you know. Clara Riley and a few of the girls there that played in the county, like she left the county early, so club is kind of where you start and end, so I'd say they're just as, especially with Clara and Ciara Farrell and a few of them that play the county, so yeah, I'd say they're fairly up for it.
Who's refereeing the final?
We don't know yet. We're waiting to find out. I'm hoping Brian Crow. No.
Of course you are.
God, no.
Just looking at the 2 tables, Lurgan topped their table, won both of their games. You won both of your games as well in your group. Yous finished with a score difference of plus 69. They finished with a plus 28. You know, yous have been scoring very heavily.
Yeah.
Is it herself that's doing all the scoring?
No, I don't think so. I wasn't even there for the first game against Belturbet. I had to work.
Oh yeah.
So that just shows, like, there's players come in, like there's such competition.
32 points that day.
32 points that day.
No goals.
No goals. But like,
Jeez, don't be greedy, Rosie.
No, but I know.
But she's just basically saying that, Debbie, you weren't there, we didn't score any goals. The second day, they scored 11 goals. Debbie, you were there the second day, were you?
I was, yeah.
Against Knockbride.
Yeah.
How many goals did you get the second day yourself?
None.
You got none. You got none, right. Okay,
no,
I thought
so that doesn't say much. No, we got none. But it just shows you, like, it's not all about just the full forward line, you know, like we can get them from the half-back line, or half-backs like to attack, and Rosie throws in an odd point every now and again. Sinead as well.
Yeah,
as well. Like, so there's strength and depth there throughout the squad. Like, not just, you're not relying on your forwards.
I think the 32 points showed that, like,
we
were trying to work on taking scores from out the field, giving guys confidence. Like, I know I wouldn't have confidence going for a score, but in them games you do practice it, so you don't have to rely so much on the full forward line all the time.
You have a great boot of a ball. Like, I've seen you kicking the ball. Like, you know, like, why would you not have confidence in going for scores?
No, never did. If I don't think about it, it'll go over. But if I do think about it, it'll go that way.
Don't think about it.
I know. I try not to.
You should go into coaching. You definitely should go into coaching.
Try not to.
You've got the basic. Well, just to talk about Logan. So there was 2 groups in the senior. There's 6 teams. Was it just top went through to a final, or was there semi-finals?
Well, you could call it that. Yeah, it's just the top few that went through from each group.
Yeah. So the top team in Group 1 played the second team in Group
2. So there was semi-finals.
Yeah. So we had Tanford there 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
That was a tough test too.
Right. How did that finish up?
We won by 9 points, but it was very tough now.
Yeah.
It was really bad weather and stuff, but it was probably the toughest test which you need coming into a final. You know, we kind of, not that we had an easy run before that, but
you don't want to be complacent coming into a final,
exactly.
so you don't want to.
Tough game now.
Yeah.
And Lurgan's semi-final against Belturbet, what was in that? Do you know?
No, I went up to see it was left early. It was, I don't really know the score.
Convincing.
Yeah. They don't well now, Lurgan.
Okay, so they leave us strong.
Who's managing you this year?
Ryan and Mark. Again, yeah.
Ryan
and Simon.
Ryan Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark is obviously McKeever.
Selector, yeah.
Right.
And then Simon Fay and Lily's and Miranda.
Lily O'Reilly and
Oh,
Miranda.
very good.
Yeah.
Oh,
sister.
you have the county experience there
Yeah.
as well. So,
Yeah. It's great.
yeah, and you are missing Philip the Gunner, I presume,
Oh,
terribly.
yeah, terribly. Really much so.
But so he says.
Get the
anyway.
odd phone call during the week telling me how I did or didn't do at the weekend.
Did you give him the phone call
Oh,
this
I
week?
do, I do. I do, surely.
And I suppose the final question, Rosie, where were you at half-time in the game last night? The lights went off, your husband's team were trailing by 8 points. There's allegations being thrown about.
I saw you with a box of matches yesterday, but I'm not saying anything after that, so no.
I was standing quietly in the stand now.
No, that's a lie. I've never heard you standing
I
quietly in
actually
the stand.
took a Snapchat so I have proof where I was.
I suppose Counter delighted with that. Though.
Yeah, bit of a lifeline. Probably shouldn't say that. But
Yeah.
Well, look, it is, like, at the end of the day, it really is, like, and there's nothing that could be done.
No.
The county board, you know, their hands were tied. It was all about player safety and patrons of the
Yeah.
match,
Yeah.
you know. It
we
was all
kind of
about
got a lot of the blame because it's Girl Island then, and it happened last year for Castlemaine too. So
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly
It's
it.
funny.
But anyway, it was.
there was
it
another
was funny.
team from out that direction,
Yeah.
Mullahorn as well, so.
Sabotage.
we'll say nothing.
Couldn't be with them. Well, look, girls, we want to wish you the very best of luck. Again, the final, the Breffni Mushrooms senior football final is on in Kingspan Breffni Park this coming Sunday, the 6th of September at 4 p.m. and it will be live on cavantv.com. So do tune in if you can't make it there, but do your very best to get in there because it's going to be a great day of football, ladies football in Kingspan Breffni Park, starting at 12.
Really entertaining. Like, it was a great day we had in Kingston Breffni Park last year on the Sunday. You know, it was just, there was great excitement, there was great fun. You know, it's a really good family day out as well. Like, so, and
I suppose
winners at the
it's
end of the
also good that it's in Kingspan Breffni Park because there have been finals in the past that haven't been on the main field in Cavan. So
It should be, really. But it's great that they're in the way they are too, so people can get them to have 2 and 4, you know.
Exactly.
You know, if you're going to come into one, you're going to stay for the 3, and obviously people have family and kids bring them to it. So, yeah, but every final really should be in your home ground.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah.
It really should. It gives it the merit that it deserves.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
it's absolutely brilliant. Well, look, very best of luck to
Thanks
you,
very
and best of luck to Lorgan as well. Even
Yeah.
though they were afraid to come down. We're only joking, by the way. Obviously,
They're
Lorgan,
afraid, you know.
Lorgan are busy training. They're preparing. They're watching this at home and they're pinning it up, making sure that they have all their homework done.
And also best luck, I suppose, to Kingscourt and Drumgoon and to the other, the intermediate final, which I have here on the back of this one, which will
Killigary,
see
Drumlane.
Killigary and Drumlane.
They were
playing
here
each
a
other,
few
so.
minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. It's just, come on, there's a lot happening in my head.
There always is. Thanks very much, ladies. Moving on now, we had the Breffni Mushrooms Senior B Championship final. You can see a picture just about to come up on your screen there. It was between Knockbride and Mullahorn, and with Mullahorn running out winners on a scoreline of 5 goals and 11 points to 6 goals and 13. This was an entertaining game, as the scoreline suggests. The game started at a frantic pace with both teams really up for it. Sorry, both teams matched each other score for score, but it was last year's intermediate winners, Mullahorn, that were the most effective in front of goal.
Yeah, and McBride had the chances, but will probably feel a little bit disappointed not to have taken them. The game was there for both teams to win, but Mullahorn were better in the final third, which ultimately proved the difference as they came away with a 5-point victory. Mullahorn's Kate Smith left, as you can see there on the picture, was announced as the Breffni Mushrooms Senior B Championship Player of the Match. Our thanks to all the guests. That was the player of the match there for Mullahorn. Just to say again, thanks to all our guests there: Aideen Bennett, Christine Farley from Kingscourt, Selena Lynch and Claire McCaffrey from Drumgoon. We had Helen Corcoran and Ciara Fitch from Drumlane. We had Adele McLean and Geraldine Smith from Killigary, and then we had the 2 girls from Lacken, Debbie Gaffney and Rosie Crow. And fair play to them all for coming in. Best of luck to them all in the finals on the weekend, because it really is. It's a fantastic day out in Kingston Breffni Park.
Well, listen, for Cavan people, there's nothing else on the Sunday. I know there might be a hurling All-Ireland final, but nobody's going to be watching that in Cavan. You might as well go out to Kingspan Breffni Park and watch the ladies' finals, because they really will be very, very entertaining.
And you can always keep up to date with Twitter of the All-Ireland hurling finals.
That's exactly it. So Look at now we're going to focus on the men's football, and we're starting off with the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Football Championship. And this game was on Friday night between Templeport and Knockbride.
I think it was the playoff.
This was the first of the playoffs games for the semi-final spot, for the fourth semi-final spot. Templeport came away with a 4-point victory here. It finished 111 to 10 points in favour of the West Cavan lads. And apparently a good performance by the Templeport boys. Now, neither of us were at this.
No, Benjamin Kelly, I believe, was the outstanding player here. Now, not only that, but you know, from the people I was talking to, they did say that, you know, Knockbride put in a really good shift here and made it very, very tough for Templeport. Templeport would be the better of the teams, but just, you know, that's not convincing enough for me. Although Knockbride did really put it up to them, and Larry Riley came on and scored a couple of great scores and was very unlucky not to get on the end of a goal, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I believe Liam Galligan was injured for Templeport.
Yes, he was.
Who's quality corner forward. But having said that, you know, you can't be relying on any one player to be guaranteeing yourself to win. But I will say for Knockbride, for me, they've been the surprise of this championship in that they've matured a bit quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it'd take another year or two for some of the young footballers I've seen coming through to really make an impact, but they're starting to do it already.
Oh, definitely.
And come next year, they'll be gung-ho for that junior title, and I wouldn't like to be betting against them. They'll be a very, very good junior team next year because there's such a young team available to them there. So and look, it's good to see the likes of Larry Riley back, Rayfield Rogers still going, and they'll be a big help maybe just to bridge the gap. And if they could stay on to help these lads win a junior title, it would really, really boost them going into intermediate. If they can win that junior title young enough, we've said it about Templeport, they need that as well. But Templeport wouldn't have county experience at senior level.
Yeah, at senior level, or somebody with an Ulster Championship medal.
Couple of lads,
you know, like still playing in their ranks, like you know, and that's a huge.
Big advantage to them, and Larry and Rayfield Rogers can really help them young lads to come through if they're given the opportunity. So hopefully for Knockbride's sake, that the lads decide to play football again next year and bring on these young lads, because their attitude is right.
Yeah,
definitely is right, and it's good to see it. And Templeport marching on now, where they'll be playing Muncher Connacht this coming weekend in the final playoff. So essentially, it's a quarter final for Templeport now in the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Championship.
Mm-hmm. In the Hotel Kilmore Senior Football Championship, round 2A, Ballinya were taking on Mullahoran. This game was on Saturday evening in Kingsman Breffni Park. This finished in a draw. Ballinya won 8, Mullahoran 11 points. Ballinya without Niall McDermott, I believe.
Yeah.
Pod Riley and his brother Pee Wee did play. Is that right?
Yeah.
You know, because there was rumours that the three of those lads weren't going to be playing. And I said to you, if they're missing the three of those lads, Mullahoran will win that game. But if they have the three of them, I could see Ballinya winning it. And had they had Niall McDermott, I presume they would have won that match.
Probably so, yeah. Now, having said that, I thought a lot of the Ballinya players stepped up to the plate. Like, I'd have to say Colin Gumley was absolutely outstanding. I think he finished with 1-4, 1-5. He was brilliant in a corner forward. And I thought Eamon McAvoy was really, really good as well. They started then with Anthony Gaynor in on the square and as a target man. And although he didn't finish any moves or score any points, he was involved all the time. And when he decides he's going for a ball and his eyes for a ball, he's excellent at coming out and winning a ball. Now, he looks a little bit unfit, I have to say, because he spent a lot of time at the back of the goals, crouched over one of the advertising hoardings, because he doesn't look like he's in great shape. But when he's determined to go and win a ball, he's excellent in there in that full forward line. And he gave them that opportunity. Now, possibly some of the balls that he'd won, if Niall McDermott was there, he'd have won and maybe stuck over the bar. So, you're probably right. Niall McDermott might have been the difference on the teams. But, like, Ballinya, to their credit there, they did really step up. Young Ronan O'Reilly came on, and he looks like a quality footballer. Now, I think it was last year he made his debut for the seniors and looked really, really good inside. And I'd like to see a lot more of that lad. I think he's full of quality and full of ability. Pádraig Riley getting black carded early on in the game was a big call, a massive call. James Clark was refereeing it. I didn't see the incident, so I've no say on it at all, but it affected the outcome of the game, definitely, because he was playing very well in the middle of the field, and he had to be replaced. Now, Tomas Moore was quiet enough by his standard. Now, maybe I'm harsh because I've come to expect a lot on him.
An awful lot more.
But I didn't think it was one of his better games. Kevin Smith, I thought, was very good. David Finnegan was very good as well.
Who came in for Podge Riley with the black card?
Who came in? I'm just trying to think now. Was it Ronan that came in as a sub? Actually, it could have been... Peter Donahue started.
Your dad?
Actually, sorry, it was Peter Donahue who came in, I think.
Right.
But actually, I'm not 100% sure on that anyway. But Enda Brady started a corner forward instead of Sean Keaton, and then Keaton came on. But Ballina had their team set up fairly well, I have to say.
I've liked them over the last few years, so I have. Like 2013 when they won the championship, it was an awesome win. It was absolutely brilliant the way they won that match. They played to the peak of their performance. You know, they really did. And they had to, as Podge Riley said to me, they had to play an 8-point better game than Cavan Gales to win by a point.
Yeah.
You know, so and last year I watched them a good bit because I thought, okay, then they won it in 2013. They're not going to, you know, it was their year, you know. But last year they came back, and I watched them a good few times last year. And I really do think that they are well drilled and they've got a great team ethic, and they've got some great players to come onto that team as well.
Yeah, definitely do. Like, I suppose they're like Kieran Brady or Jaffa. Like he's back from Australia now.
Yeah.
Now he hasn't played yet. I think he's injured, but if he came back, he'd be a big addition there. Obviously, Niall McDermott to come back in as well. So, like, they will be stronger. Damien McInerney is a huge addition, but he looks like he's after suffering a bad ankle injury now. He had to go off as well, which was a big loss to Ballina. And it's no coincidence that in 2013 he went a good run of injury-free football.
Yeah.
And they went on to win the senior championship because he's top shelf for me now. Damien McInerney is an excellent footballer. So to look at Mullahoran, they were missing the fullback Noel Brady, who was a big loss to them. James Riley came in, who was starting, I think, the last time Mullahoran won the senior championship. Sean McGeough didn't start at centre half back. They brought in Mickey Brady instead, and I thought Mickey actually had a very good game. Some of his kick passing was a bit wayward, but in general, his direct running, his strength, he was coming, powering through the middle, and he looked a very good prospect again for Mullahoran. We haven't seen him obviously last year, and the year before he left, I don't think he played the championship the year before because there was a suspension. Yeah. So we haven't seen him in a good while.
I'm just looking down at the picture of him there, so I am there for the under 21s, and it's something. I have great admiration for him as a footballer. I would ask him not, if I was a manager, I'd ask him not to kick a ball. It's not that he can't kick a ball. I think he's much better at carrying, giving and going.
Yeah, he's excellent at that.
You know, and I think that is something that he should, you know, execute a bit more. You know, and instead of kicking that ball, because you're kicking the ball, it's a 50-50, you know, when you're kicking it a long distance. Yeah. Whereas with his aggression and his speed and his fitness, you know, it's something that he can do, and it's something that if I was a coach or whatever, I'd love to see him doing more of. Anyway.
Well, definitely, but I thought he was very good. Chris Pryor, I thought, had an excellent game actually at wing half back. He got up and scored a point. In the middle of the field, Killian Brady was hard working as always, some very good catching. But again, I'd have to be honest, he was probably lucky not to pick up a second yellow card. He got a yellow card, and then a couple of times, now nothing real dirty, but just a late tackle.
Petulant.
Well, not even petulant, just like that. You know the way if you're on a yellow card in a game, you mind your tackles. Yeah. He wasn't minding his tackles, you know, and that's the only thing I'd have said about him. But in the middle of the field, he was joined by Kevin Fitzsimons, and Kevin had a good enough game as well, but still not outstanding. Like Kevin is a big, tall fella that should be given more to Mullahoran. That I'd expect more from him. And for me, Mullahoran played well below par. They played well below their ability. Philip Brady came on and made a huge difference. I thought he was excellent when he came on. He scored 2 points, I think, when he came on. Or he definitely got one anyway. I'm nearly sure he got 2. But what it meant was they freed up, basically they were playing Enda Riley and Paul the Gunner inside.
Paul the Gunner came on as well.
No, he started.
He did start.
He started instead of Shane Shields at corner forward.
Right.
But when they were playing the two lads inside, the lads out the field weren't delivering any good ball into the end and to Paul. And then when they brought on Philip the gunner, it left Paul able to go out the field, and they still had 2 good men inside to aim the ball. And he was delivering in. Now, some of it wasn't picture perfect. It was lobbing high ball, but the target zone that he was aiming for, he was getting it into that target zone all the time. Yeah. And I think 3, maybe 4 scores came off Paul just putting in the right ball to the 2 lads.
If he slapped the ball, he'd probably get it right into the area.
Probably would, from the full back line on the other end. But I suppose you'd have to say Enda Riley was absolutely outstanding. He scored 5 and 2, 7 frees out of Mullahoran's total 11 points. So, it was a very good performance by Enda. Paul Brady, 2 points from open play. He missed a few as well, but looks like he wouldn't have played a lot of football in a while.
Yeah, he has. So. That's something that always happens to Paul when he comes back from playing a big handball tournament. He's rusty for a couple of weeks. The first week he'll shoot and shoot and shoot. Yeah. He mightn't hit the target every time, but you can be sure next week when they play, if Paul Brady shoots, he scores.
Yeah,
that's something that I've noticed with him. And
you're dead right.
He's deadly accurate the second there, and it's again. I'm just
looking forward to the replay.
Well, apart from looking forward to the replay, I just think that's a testament to the man. He goes off and wins his 5th world title in a row, and comes back and plays for his club. That's what Gaelic football is about. That's what Gaelic, the GAA, that's what club is about.
Yeah, well, that's what that man is about.
Huge admiration
and in fairness, credit to him, I will say, I heard a story about the initial game was meant to be the Sunday that he landed home with Mullahoran and Ballina, and obviously people were talking about, making a big deal of it, and he was asked and he said, no, listen, I want to concentrate on the Mullahoran game. I don't want a big deal made about this. Let me concentrate on the match, and then we can talk about it after. That's the measure of the man.
That's the measure of the man, and it's just that's what the ethos of the GAA is about, really. Like, if you ask me,
absolutely brilliant. So we'll move on. Anyway, that replays this coming weekend in Kingspan Rugby Park. I think it's Saturday evening, is it?
I think it's Saturday evening.
Saturday evening, could be.
So yeah, I think it's Saturday evening, and we'll obviously, the other game will have to be replayed, but we'll come back to that.
We will indeed. The second game on round 2A saw Killashandra taking on Coothill. This was up in the athletic grounds in Killarney, and Killashandra came away with a 5-point win here, and well deserved it too, Mickey.
Yeah, they did. Coothill were dominant in the first half, and I suppose they probably led by 3 points at half time due to a fortuitous goal where Tom Hayes took a shot from maybe 25 yards, and he was turning onto his right foot. He did back to goal, and he turned to swing the ball over the bar, and it looped over the goalkeeper into the top left-hand corner. Yeah. He was embarrassed. You could see it himself. He didn't mean to stick it in the net, but it was the difference between the teams in the first half. I suppose second half, first 9 minutes, Killashandra had 10 chances and didn't take any of them. They had maybe 2 goal chances, maybe 7 wides that were going for points as well, but then all of a sudden they got 3 in a row and they got back into the game and they were level. And then I was saying to you, they've had their purple patch, they've only got 3 scores from it out of 12 or something like that, and I can see Coothill getting a purple patch now. Coothill got a purple patch, they got 2 scores, but then Killashandra just went at them. So that Coothill's discipline let them down. That was the one thing throughout the match. If they could hold their heads, I think they could have won that game.
Yeah.
So I do. I just feel that, when they went 2 points up after that weathering the storm from Killashandra, that instead of concentrating on, making it 3, making it 4, they were concentrating on letting Killashandra know, and they were up in their faces and stuff like this. And Killashandra says, right, okay, and then a couple of the lads, Declan McKiernan was outstanding in midfield. Okay, he had a kind of an iffy day on frees, so he did. He was scoring some incredible frees, and then easy frees he was kicking wide. But
he scored 5 frees and he hit 5 wide.
Yeah, and I'd say that 2 or 3 of them were down to you, given the commentator's curse. Yeah. This is bread and butter for Declan McKiernan, and then you kick it wide. But he had an indifferent game, but he was outstanding throughout, apart from his frees. He got up and down the pitch. Like,
you take the frees out. Like, he scored 9 points. He scored 5 frees, 4 from open play. But his general play from midfield was absolutely phenomenal.
At one stage, he caught a ball that was lobbed into the square on his own 6-yard line. He caught it, drove out, laid it off, went again, got it again, laid it off, got it again and laid it off, and then ended up on the 13-metre line, the other end of the pitch, kicking it over the bar.
Absolutely,
you know,
brilliant.
like that was the type of game he had as well.
He's really jumped up into another gear, I think, this year with Killishandra, because against Castlereagh he was absolutely phenomenal as well. But I have to say, Dara Ty for me was excellent.
Yeah.
He was on one of the best young footballers in the county, in Tom Hayes, and Tom scored.
It was a great battle.
It was a great battle because Tom's movement is so dynamic all the time, left to right, left to right. I'd say he's a nightmare to mark, but Dara Ty was like a glove on him. He was just absolutely brilliant, and Tom Hayes only got a goal in the entire hour, and it was a fortuitous goal, as he would have said himself. Now, he'd have definitely created the opportunity to take a point, but that was the only scoring opportunity he really got against like
There was one
Dara
at the start of the second half. There was one at the start of the second half when they won the ball from the throw-in, and somehow Tom Hayes ended up out in his own. Do you remember? He was down towards the town end of Killygarry, and he was all on his own. And the ball, eventually they kicked the ball into him. A player came towards him to block him. I think it could have been Dara Ty, made his way over, and he hooked that out to the left and wide.
Right.
But that's the only other time that he had acres of space
or shooting opportunity. Like, so it was, I suppose it's back to the drawing board for Coothill. You know, they're not out of the championship. They get another opportunity now in the back door. But they did have John McCutcheon was sent off with a red card, and Brian Sherlock as well.
But was it John McCutcheon we were trying to figure that one out?
Sorry,
was it?
I did. I wrote that down, but maybe there was 2 red cards.
Yeah, there was 2 red cards. It was Brian Sherlock
Dean Conley
and Dean Conley.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, you're
right.
right.
We weren't sure about the John McCutcheon one, and it actually turned out to be Brian Sherlock.
That's right.
It was Dean Conley who got the first one for
John.
Like, it wouldn't be in John's nature to do something like that at all. Dean Conley got the first one for an off-the-ball incident, and then Brian Sherlock. Again, there was a long ball into a square or something,
something happened.
And
We
something
didn't
happened.
see the incident
Didn't
at all.
see that either incident.
No, but from a Coothill point of view, Colm Smith looks like he's getting back into the swing of things in football-wise. 5 points, 2 from frees, 3 from open play. Physically very strong, and he's starting to look like he's got a bit of speed in him too.
Yeah, he's trimmed down, as you said. He's still a big man. He's still all that, but like last year he was nearly bodybuilder size.
Yeah.
This year he's trimmed it down and he's toned size. He's a big lad. Ran all day, ran from start to finish. So he did.
I was impressed with his fitness.
Scores. Yeah, kicked some great scores.
But look, it was a good result for Killishandra. They march on into the championship quarter-finals now, the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship quarter-finals, and they'll be delighted with that performance. As I say, it pushes them on. A quick mention then to the super sub to come on, Cian Sweeney.
Yeah.
Man in the right position, just knowing when to attack the ball for the Killishandra goal. Declan McKiernan was playing it across the goal with his left foot on the left-hand side of the goals, and Cian Sweeney came from behind Ryan Carroll and his marker.
And the goalkeeper.
Ryan Carroll.
Oh, sorry, and his marker,
And his marker, but came from behind him and just basically palmed into the net in front of the 2 lads who didn't attack the ball.
Yeah, they didn't attack the ball, but it was. I love seeing that type of a ball being played into a full forward line. He was down on the 13-metre line. I think it might have been a shot, but it was he was well out towards the sideline, and it was going to drop in around the 6-yard line. Cian Sweeney, he anticipated where the ball was going to be. The other 2 boys were stuck to the ground. He juked in through them, got around, got in front of the goalkeeper, as you said, Ryan Carroll, and got his hand to it, inflicted into the net. A real goal poacher's goal, a real full forwards goal, if you ask me. Really, really well taken. So
it was indeed. So they march on, as we say, and it's the back door for Coothill. The Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship Round 2B replay, senior.
Oh, sorry.
Round 2B was Kingscourt against Cuhullins, and Kingscourt came away convincing winners here, 3 goals and 16 points to 1 goal and 8. So it was, I suppose, opportunity missed the last day for Cuhullins.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I was talking to Adrian Tate, and I think they had a man black carded or something, or they missed a goal chance or something earlier on, hit the post or something, and they just never seemed to. One of the players got injured, I think it was, for Cuhullins. Yeah, there was one of their main players got injured, and Kingscourt brought on somebody who scored 3 points in the space of a few minutes, went 4 or 5 points ahead, and they just never seemed to be able to claw it back. Then they had to loosen the shackles, I suppose, and go for the game. And sure,
And
by
it's just
doing
left
that, they left
spaces.
space, and Kings
Court made a number of changes though, as in with the way they set up. Alan Clark was operating at full forward, Barry Riley was out in the middle of the field, and Christy McGowan was at centre half forward, and Alan Clark was doing a lot of feeding off then towards Dara coming inside, so he was winning a lot of ball in there in the full forward line, and I think he was marking Christopher Tully from what I was told, but it was a system that seemed to give Barry Riley a lot more freedom and delivering the right type of ball in the middle of the field. So it worked very well.
That's class, because I don't know a better winner of a ball than Alan Clark.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's got an unbelievable pair of hands on him. So that
Credit to the management
genius
again.
piece of you know, like, he probably wouldn't be a potent scorer, but if you can get a full forward who can win ball, lay it off to your shooters, go and buy them. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah, so I thought it was very good when I heard about it. I was listening to this, Paul Fitzpatrick was doing the commentary on it on the way back down the road from we had a junior game, but it sounded just very much a one-sided affair from just before half-time, like Kings Court had pulled away, and it didn't look like Cuchulainn had anything to really offer or to come back at it. Some of the players that you would have expected, Connor Smith, Adam Riley, didn't really step up at all. I heard Brian McGee scored an outstanding point, I think it was, in the second half, and he looks like he has still promised. Last year he was a minor and really pushed on to the Cuchulainn's team last year. They made the semi-final.
Full forward last year.
Yeah, he was in and out between them. And Donncha Dunn, I heard, was very, very good as well. He really put in a real hard hour's work and covered a lot of ground, but it wasn't enough for Cuchulainn, and they now go into the relegation playoff. So they have, but I think they get a double chance at least. So they face, I'm just trying to think now,
Drumley face
Lavi,
Den, is it?
Cuchulainn's, no, Den are safe. Drumgoon,
yes,
Drumgoon, and then the losers of that play. There's one more team I can't think. Anyway. But yeah, they get a double chance anyway, I think, Cuchulainn. So moving on then to round 3 of the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship. On Saturday evening, Lacken took on Den, and Lacken came away convincing winners here, a 10-point win. So it finished 114 to 7 points. And Lacken really
after losing to Cavan Gales on a similar scoreline the week beforehand, we were saying that Lacken needed to come out and be professional against Den and not take them for granted. They didn't. They went out, they got the job done, they scored 114, 17 points to 7. Den with a potent inside forward line, you know, like you've Thomas Edward Donoghue, you have Ben Connerty, Dean Hyland, you know, you've got some good footballers, good young footballers in there. They obviously curtailed them.
I think actually from what I was told of the game, I was out for a small period of it, but it was more that Den couldn't get a hold in the middle of the field, and the 3 boys inside weren't getting any supply, and then Ben Connerty had to come out the field and try and win ball, but Ben's not the biggest of men in the world. He's big in heart, but not in height. Not in height, but he it was a physically massive team, Lacken, against a young, small, not so physically strong Den team. Mossy Core in the middle of the field was battling hard all the time, but again Thomas Galligan had a very good game, and James Galligan played very well as well for Lacken in the middle of the field. They controlled that area, and it meant that Lacken or Den just couldn't get the grips and couldn't get any supply going into the forward line. Now Colin Kiernan wasn't playing for Den, and he's a big loss because whatever breaking ball, whatever bits of ball that they would pick up in the middle third of the field, Mousey's the man that can transfer it into the full forward line with great accuracy, so he was a big loss to them. Raymond Galligan didn't play for Lacken on the other end, so they played, while I was there anyway, Fimber Riley was operating inside, but then they brought on Niall McKiernan, and that man has such ability. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. Like, Adrian Cahill is a big, strong man, and yet he was looking down. He was head above Adrian Cahill, and yet his speed to move for a ball. He's so quick off the mark. Turned. His first point was Martin Dunn-esque, is all I could say. He was literally on the end line, hooking it with the left foot, coming across the goals that way, and you know, just at his ease. There was no fear of him. I know I might miss this. No, as soon as I get it, I'm kicking it, and he kicked it straight over the bar. It was absolutely brilliant.
He's a quality footballer.
And
he's one of the most talented footballers in the county, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, he really is. If he could just get this up here, you know, because he is a fantastic footballer.
That's exactly it, and I'd love to see it. No different than probably, well, not no different, but like we have, people talk about in Cavan, you know, we have a county forward line that's very, very small. We have big, massive, strong forwards in the county that are capable of doing the job. If we could get them really putting in a big effort for county and get their heads right around it. Aidy Cole there for me is good enough for county football. I think definitely Niall McKiernan is good enough as well. Now, for whatever reason they're not involved, whether it be that they don't want to be involved or the management don't pick them on it or the commitment level might be too high, I just love to see the likes of those boys putting on a Cavan jersey and giving it, like we've seen Trevor Crowe a few years ago, who was late coming onto a county panel, but he gave a massive effort for Eamon Coleman for a couple of years, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Probably one of the nucleuses that brought that particular Cavan team to a very high level. We could have won an Ulster title that year. We should have beaten Armagh, who went on to, I think, definitely win an Ulster title, maybe an All-Ireland that year. But, you know, if some of these players would give a big effort to Cavan for 1 year or 2 years.
It's just not for everybody sometimes, you know, that kind of way. A lot of fellas, because it is a huge commitment. It's 6 days a week. It's changing your whole life, you know, like, and the reward is huge.
Yeah. But the effort
is huge as well, like, you know, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, it is indeed. But anyway, it was an entertaining game. Then, unfortunately, now go out of the championship and. But they're safe in senior, which is a good year for them regardless, because their league form suggested that they were going to struggle in the championship, but now they've secured their status, and I'm sure they'll be looking to build on it for next year.
That's it, you know, and with the youth coming through, the work that's been done out there in Crosskeysel, the pitch.
Yeah,
you know, like
definitely. So look, that brings us to the end of this week's show.
Already?
Finally,
does it?
That's a long old show, so it was.
Remember, if you want to contact the show with your views, we'd be delighted to hear from you. You can email us on GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views, or you can follow us on Twitter @GaelicFV.
A quick reminder that this coming weekend we will be broadcasting live from Kingspan Breffni Park the three ladies finals. So if I can remember right, it's the Quinn Building Products Junior Championship final, the Kiernan Service Station Intermediate Championship final, and the Breffni Mushrooms Senior Championship final.
Bing.
Live at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock on CavanTV.com. Again, our thanks to the backroom team, the one-man team that is Mr. Brian Daly. As always, our thanks to him for all his preparation work, and Paul for not bringing us tea.
Yeah, Paul Cox arrived in late, brought himself a cup of tea.
After all the ladies were gone, which is very strange.
Yeah.
Paul coming in when the ladies are gone. It doesn't usually happen like that.
It doesn't happen like that at all. But our thanks again to all the guests we had in tonight.
Remember them?
I can indeed, yeah. Debbie Gaffney and Rosie Crowe from Lacken, the Lacken senior ladies team. We had from the intermediate.
We had Geraldine Smith
and Edel
McLean.
They were from Killygarry. From Drumlane, we had Helen Corcoran and Ciara Fitch, or Damien, as Damien said, Claire Fitch. I don't know where you got that name at all. And for the juniors, from the junior teams, we had Kingscourt, Aideen Bennett and Christine Farley. From Drumgoon, we had Selena Lynch and Claire McCaffrey. So
our thanks to all the guests.
Yes, absolutely. So until next week, it's good night and
God bless.